The parable of the talents is a powerful lesson about how we handle the opportunities and resources entrusted to us. In Matthew 25, verses 14 to 30, Jesus compares the kingdom of heaven to a man who, before embarking on a journey, calls his servants and entrusts his wealth to them. To one he gives 5 talents, to another 2 talents, and to the last 1 talent. Each servant receives an amount according to their ability. This detail is emphasized by Jesus. Then, the wealthy man departs on his journey. The servant who received 5 talents immediately puts them to work and gains 5 more. Likewise, the servant with 2 talents invests them and earns 2 more. However, the servant who received just 1 talent chooses to dig a hole in the ground and hide his master's money instead of using it. Before we continue, take a moment to reflect. How are you using the gifts and opportunities God has given you? If this message is meaningful to you, don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear it. After a long time, the master returns and calls his servants to settle accounts. The one who received 5 talents presents the additional 5 he earned, saying, "Master, you entrusted me with 5 talents. See, I have gained 5 more." His master replies, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share in your master's happiness." Similarly, the servant who received 2 talents approaches his master and says, "Master, you entrusted me with 2 talents. See, I have gained 2 more." The master responds with the same praise. "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share in your master's happiness." Finally, the servant who was given 1 talent steps forward and says, "Master, I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid and went out and hid your talent in the ground. Here is what belongs to you." The master, however, rebukes him, calling him wicked and lazy. He tells him that he should have at least deposited the money with the bankers to earn interest. Then, the master orders that the talent be taken from him and given to the servant who now has 10 talents. Jesus concludes the parable by saying, "For whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. And throw that worthless servant outside, into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." One crucial aspect of this parable is understanding the context in which Jesus told it. He spoke these words during his final week before his crucifixion, likely on the Tuesday of Passion Week. Jesus was in Jerusalem, teaching his disciples about the events leading to the end of the age. This discourse is known as the Olivet Discourse, and the parable of the talents is part of its concluding section. What is the meaning of this parable? In essence, it warns against the gravity of wasted opportunities. The man going on a journey represents Christ, while the servants symbolize those entrusted with different levels of responsibility. Each person is expected to be faithful in managing what they have received because one day they will be called to give an account before God. The talents in the parable represent resources, gifts, and opportunities granted by God. How they are managed reflects the diligence and commitment of a believer in fulfilling God's work. Interestingly, the modern use of the word talent as a natural ability is derived from this very parable. A fascinating fact to consider is that a talent was a unit of measurement in ancient times. In the 1st century, when Jesus told this parable, scholars estimate that a talent was worth around 6,000 denarii or 6,000 Greek drachmas. Since a denarius or a drachma was roughly a day's wage for a common laborer, a single talent represented an enormous sum. Therefore, the servant who received only 1 talent was not given an insignificant amount. Some people even feel sorry for him, thinking he received little. But in reality, a single talent was equivalent to at least 6,000 days' wages, an amount that most workers could never accumulate in their lifetime. This illustrates that the master entrusted all his servants with immense wealth. What lessons can we learn from this? True followers of Christ are faithful stewards of what has been entrusted to them. Some may bear more fruit than others, depending on the resources given to them, but all are expected to be productive. The unfaithful servant, however, is negligent and barren. His perception of the master as a harsh and unreasonable man reveals that he does not truly know him, indicating a lack of a genuine relationship. In a broader application, this represents those who have not experienced spiritual renewal. On the day of judgment, such individuals will be exposed and face the consequences of their unfaithfulness, as Jesus concludes by saying they will be cast into darkness, where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth. Before concluding, I want to invite you to take action today. If you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications so you won't miss any future content. And if this message has blessed you, consider sharing it with others so they, too, can be encouraged. May God bless you, and may you be a faithful steward of the talents entrusted to you.